What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Down and Dirty. We're going to talk about doing some advanced grading techniques in the skid steer. So I'm going to apologize for our door here. Your front view is probably just going to look like a disaster because, you know, that's what you get with a demo door that's been through the mulcher a lot. So it is what it is. Let's get into some advanced grading techniques in a skid steer. So a lot of us are familiar with, or you might not be familiar as a new guy in the industry, but I've got this long driveway that I'm trying to grade out, and it's going to be difficult to kind of pick up on subtle grade changes on the camera. That's always the case in these videos, but you can see out here that we've kind of got a little bit of a dip in our grade, and then it jumps back up. And you know, how do we go fix that? Well, a lot of times what we want to do is, rookies especially, we want to go up there and we want to just lay our blade down flat, and we want to back drag it, and okay, well that's pretty good, but you know what, there's still a hump in there. It's kind of right out here, so we're going to go forward again and we're going to try to back drag that. Well, that's better. It's definitely getting better, but there's still a little bit of a hump. Well, maybe if we go forward, well, that's better. That's actually significantly better. But you can see that gets a little difficult, and especially if you're a rookie, you may spend 15 minutes kind of dinking around with this area trying to get it totally flat because your bucket doesn't have enough weight in it. And so as a result, anytime you try to make a subtle change to the grade, your bucket's either going to ride up on top or you're going to overcorrect and you're going to stab into the ground. But we're going to do something different today. We're going to go up here and I'm going to catch my grade right about here, and I'm going to load up with all this material in my bucket. Now, what has that done for me? I now have, I'm just going to guess here, I've probably got about 2,500 to 3,000 pounds of material sitting in my bucket now, which means that I can make very subtle changes to the angle of my bucket, and I can have very precise control over my depth of cut. And so now we can go through and we can actually contour the snot out of this driveway with just very subtle changes to my bucket angle. So I'm going to give her some juice so we've actually got some throttle, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So as we go forward here, this is an area right up here where I'm starting to get pretty fat on material. So I'm going to adjust my bucket angle away from me, and you can already see we are starting to gather material. And that is exactly what we want. I want to cut material out of this area. But you know what? This is a part where I don't necessarily want to cut so much. So I'm going to curl back towards me and I'm going to thin it out. And right now, I'm basically riding flat. You're going to see some material building up on the right side because of this windrow, but my cutting edge is riding flat right now, and so I'm not gathering material. And so this is going to give me a really nice finish pass, by the way. If you look off there to the left-hand side, this is where I've already done this technique once, and you can see the kind of finish this gives you, and it actually gives you halfway decent compaction. Obviously, it's not going to hold a candle to running a roller over this, but at the same time, it does kind of lock it in a little bit. Excuse me. And so what we can do is we can just ride this angle, and with very subtle adjustments, we can make some cuts, we can take material, or we can actually put material back if we want to. And I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a minute. So we're going to back up all the way to the beginning here. A very wet day. We've had rain overnight, which is why you see that there's kind of some, you know, nastiness to the material. But look at the finish that we got from doing that push this way. This gives you a really, really nice finish, and you can really, really control your contours. So let's go back here. We'll pick up some more material. In fact, we'll call it good right about there. So we're going to start gathering material in here because I'm fat, and as you add weight to the bucket, you're going to have to come back on your bucket curl. Otherwise, you're going to start to dive because you're starting to load the bucket. So we're going to be constantly adjusting that. We're all fat through here, so I'm going to actually angle down a little bit more. Really starting to gather some material, which is exactly what I want. Now right here is where I get really fat. So we're really going to, and I can lift my boom arms just a little bit too, and that's going to allow the bucket to tip away from me. So it's a little bit of adjustment of both your boom your boom level and your bucket angle. So we're really starting to dig over here on the left-hand side, which is what I want because we're really fat through there. Now, once we get up here, let's just say we wanted to add a little material instead of take away. So right here, I'm about pushing flat. I'm gonna curl towards me, and what that's gonna do is lift the front of that bucket. You can see some of the material just roll down there. As I lift the front of that bucket, I'm gonna ride up over it, and I'm gonna deposit material. So if we back up, you can see I just deposited all that material. Now it looks like garbage right now because I just lifted my bucket up and we didn't smooth it all the way over. But you can deposit material just as easily as you can take material away. And so as you can see, we can go through and very precisely contour this driveway so that we don't have any weird humps, we don't have any weird hoopties or bumps in it from trying to tie all of our buckets in. We're just able to almost grade this like a dozer blade all the way to the end. And then the way I typically finish this out is right about here. I'm gonna lift and rotate my bucket away from me. And then because this is fluffed material, I actually want to leave it just a hair higher than the surrounding grade. So you're gonna see the machine pitch up a little bit. And right there is how you can finish out your pass. So nothing super crazy or tricky. I will say this is a little bit more of an advanced technique just because you do need to have pretty good control over your boom and bucket function. So if you're a rookie, it might be easier, you know, to do some back dragging initially, and you might have some hoopties, not a big deal. But as you start to get better with your working hand, this is a really solid technique for getting you some really nice finish passes. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next Down and Dirty.